Welcome to Optimum's 6th anniversary or 6th investment seminar. Great to have a lot of our clients here, perhaps some potential clients. Unfortunately, because of the world we live in, the numbers was held to a minimum because of the strict rules we have to adhere to. But looking forward to a great day. We have our CEO, Lawrence Smith, welcoming everyone. Then we're going to listen to Francois Botha on how our funds have performed over these testing times, and then of course people that's well known to the rest of South Africa, Theo Venter. He's going to speak a little bit about the political issues and the political things that are happening in America now, and then always proud to announce him, Dr. Botha, Optimum's economic advisor, to hear what he has to say. And he's one of the guys, he always try and stay positive, but he also shows that through his data and his data capturing. So please enjoy the day with us, and hopefully next year we can be back to a full capacity.
Hi, good day. I'm Lawrence, the CEO of the Optimum Financial Services Group. And it's a privilege for us to be in Pretoria and see our clients again, see our colleagues, mingle a little bit, obviously with the necessary social distancing requirements. But yeah, good to see people coming out and ready for what's happening in the next couple of months. We don't need to go back in history what's happening with COVID, but what we need to do is to see where's the opportunities. Is this going to be a miserable year, or is it a year of opportunities, and that we can create ourselves into new human beings with the new norm as people speak about it. So yeah, we had Theo Venter here. It's a political analyst and very interesting news on what's happening in the governing party at the moment. And then Francois Botha gave an overview of the markets and then the records that we've seen in worldwide markets in 2020. And then Dr. Botha gave the macroeconomic research of what's happening, and clearly we can start seeing the V-shaped recovery in the economy. And let's hope and pray that we will not be influenced by a second wave, and we can start creating jobs in this beautiful country of ours. Be positive, always have faith and hope, and that's all we can rely on. I trust you guys will have a lovely day with us, and that you will learn something today from the speakers.
First time that I've attended the Optimum Investment Conference. I believe this is the 6th one of many that have been held this year, and I found it extremely informative. I was quite encouraged by the presentation by Dr. Botha, and it made me believe in South Africa again when everybody thinks that we are in the doldrums. The economic indicators that were given to us very encouraging, particularly for the business that I'm in. It enables me to do a lot more planning work, and I've got a strategy review session next week, and this is going to give me a lot of input to try and redirect the efforts of my team, because we know that the future is looking a lot better than we read in the papers. Thank you very much indeed.
My name is Theo Venter, and I'm from the Northwest Business School, and I've participated in Optimum's conference today, where we spoke about several things, and my responsibility was to speak about politics, and I've decided that I will cover 3 topics. Ek het 3 temas breedweg bespreek. Ek het 'n bietjie gepraat oor globale verandering en die verwagtinge wat ons het. Ek het na die Amerikaanse verkiesing gekyk, bloot omdat dit so 'n interessante verskynsel is wat almal raak, en nie net Suid-Afrika nie, en dan het ek na die Suid-Afrikaanse politiek verwys. Globally, what I showed was that the risk expectation that was primarily driven by climate change and by issues in the climate, generally speaking, weather patterns that are changing and so on, that dominated our thinking in January and February this year. Then COVID came. And with COVID, within 3 months, everything changed. It was a total reset in terms of what our risk assessment is and what we're thinking in terms of global politics, economics, trade, and all of those kind of things. And by mid-June, the World Economic Forum had to redo their whole assessment of global risks. And now the top worrying issues, of course, are the economy. Whether the global economy is going to rebound the way they expect. Questions of unemployment, together with nations having difficulty with national debt and so on. Climate change only came in at about 27th of all the issues. So globaal het dinge heeltemal verander en ek dink dit moet verdiskonteer word in hoe mens dink oor die wêreld rondom jou. Klimaat is steeds belangrik, maar ek dink COVID-19 het heeltemal 'n ander mindset gebring oor hoe ons na dinge kyk. Toe kyk ek na die Amerikaanse politiek. Now we know by now that Biden won the popular vote with 76 million votes and Trump got approximately 72 million votes. So it is a lot of support for Donald Trump, but not enough to give him the victory in the Electoral College that really determines who the president of the US is going to be. It seems at this stage, because they're still counting in 1 or 2 states, that the Republicans will keep control of the Senate, and it also seems at this stage that the Democrats will keep control of the House of Representatives. So the Biden-Harris presidency, which I expect will be inaugurated on the 20th of January next year, will have a hard time convincing not only a Republican Senate of their plans, but also a conservative court. These things are all the Trump legacy. And apart from the 72 million people that voted for Trump, will remain a problem for Biden to manage. Remember, within 2 years, the Americans will go to the polls again, and they will vote in their midterm elections, and within 4 years, the next presidential election. But South Africa, I think, is a main beneficiary of a Biden administration. They are less political issues from the Biden administration, and Biden as a person knows the South African situation quite well. He's got strong views about it, and it was expressed in several videos and clips that made the round, but I think he's a much older man, he's much more mature in his thinking, and I think South Africa, with a huge national debt and several issues, can only gain by the Biden administration. My laaste gedeelte gaan oor die Suid-Afrikaanse politiek. Ek het vanoggend gepraat met die nuus dat Magashule in hegtenis, of ten minste dat daar pogings is om hom in hegtenis te neem en dat hy Vrydag in die hof moet verskyn. En terwyl ons hierdie opname maak, is daar 'n perskonferensie waar die ANC nou moet sê hoe gaan hy die sekretaris-generaal hanteer, want u moet onthou, die nasionale uitvoerende komitee het besluit dat as jy beskuldig word van korrupsie, moet jy op sy staan. En hulle tweede besluit was, die sekretaris-generaal, wat natuurlik Magashule is, hy moet die proses bestuur en hy moet weekliks verslag lewer oor wat doen hy met die booswigte wat skuldig bevind is of wat aangekla word, en nou is hy self een. So ek sien baie uit na wat hulle gaan besluit en hoe dit gaan besluit, maar ek verwag dat daar oor die naweek geweldig baie politiek gaan wees in die Sondagkoerante oor waarna toe moet eis, wat gaan eis doen, wat gaan hy nie doen nie, en ek dink die som totaal, en daarmee het ek begin afsluit in my praatjie vandag. Die som totaal is dat COVID-19, ten spyte van al sy trauma, ten spyte van al sy ekonomiese probleme, was goed vir Cyril Ramaphosa. Dit het hom in staat gestel om sy mag binne die ANC te konsolideer. En dit is vir Suid-Afrika belangrik, want die bestaan van 2 faksies in die ANC en die feit dat daar beleidsonsekerheid in die ANC is, die feit dat ons nie presies weet waantoe die ANC op pad is met grondhervorming nie, die feit dat ons nie weet wat die ANC presies wil doen met die grondwet nie, dat ons nie presies weet wat die ANC wil doen met die staatsondernemings nie, het alles te doen met die feit dat daar faksiegevegte in die ANC is wat maak dat hulle nie duidelike besluite kan neem nie. En ek dink 'n Ramaphosa presidentskap wat konsolideer, bring vir Suid-Afrika voordele mee om 'n klein bietjie meer beleidssekerheid te kry. Al is die politiek vir Suid-Afrika beleidssekerheid kan gee, dan voorsien ek dat die ekonomiese groei daarop gaan volg en daarmee saam gaan volg. Baie dankie vir jy wat geluister het, en with this I would also like to say thank you for participating and listening to this program delivered to you by Optimum. My name, Theo Venter.
Hi everyone, I'm Francois Botha, the Chief Investment Officer of Optimum Investment Group. We're here at our Pretoria Seminar, Investment Seminar. It was good to see our clients again. It was good to meet a few new clients. And I think today the focus was just to give some feedback on the year that obviously was quite a volatile year. We went through the quickest bear market. In the US it took 15 days to wipe out 20% of the S&P 500. But we also went through the quickest recovery. In 33 days we made up all the losses. So it was a volatile year. It was a year in which you needed to have your funds positioned in the right way. The recovery in South Africa were led by the resources sector. Gold and platinum mines shot the light out. So yeah, it was a year in which fund management was quite difficult, especially if you run quite a diversified portfolio, because your returns was mainly captured by a few shares and a few sectors. But I think in the end, up until where we are now, the portfolios at Optimum did really well. We managed to outperform the majority of our peer group, and I think there's great opportunities for the next few years. I think our equity market is looking fairly valued. There's definitely a lot of value in bonds, and even offshore markets. There's definitely opportunities in the offshore space as well. So I think going forward, the returns would definitely be much better than the last year or the last few years, and I think we're set up for decent gains going forward.
Hi viewers, I'm Jimmy Maswanganyi, the Financial Advisor for Optimum. Today has been a very, very interesting day. The information that we received from Dr. Rulof, it was quite amazing, and what the year 2020 has had for us, and we're looking forward to the future. And the whole world has been affected by the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, and it was a challenge and a different way of doing business. But I'm very positive that the year 2021 will be much better, and more positive came out of the 2020 year. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rolf Botha. I am the Economic Advisor to the Optimum Investment Group. I also teach economics part-time from time to time, especially at Gibbs. And I write several columns, especially for Media 24, but also other publications. For the Afrikaans-speaking viewers, you can catch my column in every second Thursday, die Beeldstandpunt rubriek in Beeld, and then also in Die Burger. Right, so the economy, that was the theme of my presentation, and it is looking spectacular, believe it or not. After that disastrous April, and we all know what happened. I mean, the exchange rate went, bombed, our bond yield bombed. Now remember, if a country's bond yield increases, as ours did, by probably about 400 basis points, it means that the value of those bonds are declining. What has happened since, of course, is that we have had a bond yield decline of 350 basis points approximately. So we're back to where we were. And if you were to calculate then the reciprocal of the bond yield, then you will see the value of our bonds shows a very clear V-shaped recovery. And you can see that in virtually every single indicator. The bad news is there. We are going to have negative growth 2020 compared to 2019. We are going to take a 3 to 5% hit in real household disposable income. From a level, by the way, where we are classified as an upper middle income country, and obviously the most dominant economy on this whole continent. But what has happened since COVID is a clear V-shaped recovery. We can see that V-shaped recovery in retail trade sales, which is running at about between 80 and 90 billion rand a month. For the last available data, South Africans spent more in August with the general dealers, the big guys where we do most of our shopping probably, than they did last year in June. So a very clear V-shaped recovery. We see it in wholesale trade sales. It's back to the same levels it was at in the months prior to COVID. We can see that in mineral sales, especially because in August, this country reached its highest ever, a new record for the value of mineral sales. And for the first 9 months of this year, those mineral sales have also outstripped, overtaken last year's record. So the recovery is all around us. And I really don't see why there's any need for cynicism or to dwell on whether we are going to decline our GDP by 7 or 8% this year, or by more or by less. We should start focusing on the fact that next year we will have between 3 and 5% growth. And virtually every economist in this country agrees with me. And by the way, also the World Bank. What will happen after that will depend on the momentum that we build up, especially with job creation. Now, let's look at another key growth driver, and that is the new recovery and reconstruction plan by Cyril Ramaphosa, and of course National Treasury's growth plan. And what they emphasize is construction through the infrastructure projects, 62 of them. The other key growth driver, of course, is the lowest interest rates in 50 years. And I have sympathy with people that have put too much money over the years in money market accounts. It was good while it lasted, but right now what this country needs is a lower cost of capital to incentivize venture capital, which ultimately means higher economic growth and job creation. And Mr. Ramaphosa is doing that exactly. We are experiencing a paradigm shift, 180 degrees change from what we had in the Zuma era to what we are experiencing now. And the big difference here is that Mr. Ramaphosa is working with the private sector. And many of these projects are not financed directly by National Treasury. So quite frankly, everything is starting to fall in place for this country to record very high economic growth next year. I am confident that momentum will be retained. We have a pivotal role to play in this whole sub-Saharan Africa. Our agricultural sector, we've just had the second largest maize crop in our history, volume-wise, the largest rand-wise. The rand is still marginally undervalued, maybe modestly undervalued, depending on your definition, which means that it is arguably better to invest in South Africa because the growth will be forthcoming. I hope that my confidence and optimism will be translated into actual data next year, but I'll take a side bet that I'm going to make it this time. Thank you.